Hey guys, I want to take a second. Just sit right there. You know the story about Prince of Bel-Air. I want to just take a second and run it back. I want to take a little bit of time and kind of review what we just talked about this past weekend. I think it's helpful to remind ourselves to repeat a few things. So I want to talk to you today. We kicked off this series called This Hope. This Hope. And we hung out in Hebrews because there it says we have this hope. And it's interesting to me because if I were to say I have this thing, it means that I don't have that thing. And I think the writer of Hebrews is making a pretty big distinction between this hope and that hope. There are a lot of wishful hopes. There are a lot of circumstantial hopes that if this goes well and if this thing goes right and if this thing happens and if my job goes well and if she says yes, then I'll have hope. But the writer of Hebrews is saying, no, this hope that is in Jesus, that is unchanging, that is unwavering, that is strong, secure, steadfast, true, that hope is the hope that we all want. It's the hope that's eternal, that kind of resides beyond our circumstances. And he uses this image of an anchor, right? That this hope is our anchor. The interesting thing about an anchor is that, now granted, I'm sure in sailing and shipping and all that kind of stuff today, there's a little more technology to it. But at the time of this writing, an anchor would have gone underwater. You probably would not have seen what it was anchored to, but you would know that it's unmoving, right? You would drag it, you would create some tension, right? So maybe you'll find out what you're anchored to when you encounter some tension in life. Hello, I didn't say that Sunday. And you will discover what you're anchored to when you hit some tension in your life. And will it hold you or will it not? And so anyways, I'm just thinking about how I got to work that into my next message because I did not say that on Sunday. That was much better. And an anchor to something. And so it sits beyond the waves. Too many of us, we said this on Sunday, I think this is important. Too many of us, our hope relies upon the stillness of the waves. If the waves are good and the wind is low and it's sunny outside, no clouds on the horizon, then our hope is good. Our expectation is good. Life is going to go well. We see everything through that lens. The moment it gets a little difficult, the waves get a little bit big, that's when we start saying, I'm not sure. I'm a little bit in despair. I'm a little bit discouraged. I'm not sure how tomorrow's going to work out. I'm not sure. So our hope is very circumstantial. It's very, I hope this happens. I wish this would happen. An anchor below the surface, beyond the waves, is secure because it is not affected by what's above the surface. In other words, many of us rely upon the stillness of the waves when we should rely upon the security of the anchor. What is it anchored to? See, so many of us, our hope is dependent upon the things that are happening around us rather than what the anchor is attached to. And the writer of Hebrews would have said that this is Jesus. This is the gospel. It's the good news of Jesus. That's eternal. It goes beyond our circumstances. It goes beyond what's temporary. It is, and what he says is actually that it's gone with Jesus into the Holy of Holies, the presence of God. In other words, our hope is anchored in the presence of God. Our hope is anchored in heaven, beyond earth. It is not an earthly hope. It is not a hope. It is not that hope. It is this hope, right? And so it's anchored to something. It's fashioned. And there's a study going around that talks about how many young people don't believe there is a hope for the future. And so they live the present with hoping, in a lot of ways, circumstantially wishing that something would go right. And so they live it up in the present. And I think this advice of, well, just live how you want to. Just live it up. Live free. Do what you want. Doesn't work. The same people who say, hey, live it up, do what you want to do it however you want to do it, are the same people who drive within the lines on the highway, right? It's the same people who don't decide, well, today I want to drive into oncoming traffic, or today I'm going to swerve back and forth. Today I'm going to go reverse. It doesn't work because the moment you decide you want to live how you want to live and you don't care how other people live is the moment you run into somebody else's lane and hit somebody who decided they wanted to live how they wanted to live. Or you hit somebody who had said, you know what, I'm going to live realizing unity and community matters, and I'm going to live serving people and loving people, and I'm going to stay in my lane so I don't mess up somebody else's lane. I'm going to put my blinker on, y'all. I'm going to put my blinker on. And you might actually just ruin somebody else's path because you decided I'm just going to live how I want to. And that's a hope that's based on a lack of vision for the future. Our current faith is what causes a prevailing hope. And so our faith in Jesus, our faith in what he's done, our faith that it will never go away, that he will return, that he will show up, that matters. And so I want to encourage you today, have a hope that is eternal, because I think a lot of people are missing hope. I think a lot of people are living in despair. I think a lot of people are living like they are unfastened or disconnected and insecure, and they're living circumstantially. And our issue of our days is the issue of our day in so many lives is depression, anxiety, worry. And there are a lot of facets to that. This is not just a, hey, just buck it up, figure it out. But it is a calling to us that we should live like 1 Peter says, a hope that people recognize and say, how do you have that kind of hope? I love you guys. I can't wait for the series. It's going to be amazing. And I hope this encourages you. So we just ran it back. That's what we kind of did a little bit on Sunday. And we will continue to talk about this as we move forward. Talk to you soon.